Good morning, everyone. I'd like to first of all acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation and the Coast Salish peoples. Welcome to the Chamber of Commerce event this morning. My name's Bill Brooks, if you don't know me, and this thing's really hot, man. And I'm going to try and pull myself back. All right? All right, how's that? Because I'm getting a lot of pops out of it. I'm proud to highlight some of the things that are going on with the Chamber, but we'll do that after we introduce some of our dignitaries. I'd like to introduce Trevor Halford, who is the MLA for Surrey White Rock. And I'd like to introduce Linda Annis, who is a councillor with the City of Surrey. And I'm going to leave all the other introductions to our guest speaker this morning, who's going to be talking about the state of the city. Down like that, right there. All right, we finally got it, I hope. And that is Mayor Megan Knight. Regrets have been sent by the MP, Carolyn Finley, and she was hoping to be here but can't because Parliament's still in session. As you know, there's some exciting times coming up for both the Chamber of Commerce and the Surrey Board of Trade, and we're in a process of merging into a larger organization which will, as we believe, will add more value to the membership of the both organizations. And representing the Surrey Board of Trade this morning is Indra and Heather Booth. I'd also like to recognize our gold level sponsors, Oceana Park, Chamber Plan, D-Tech IT Experts, Aspira Peninsula, and Isle of Man. Our blue level, Cleveland Doan. They're getting a big workout from us because of the merger activity. And Sheila's Catering. The event sponsors this morning for the event are Oceana Park, Glen Traffic, Fortis BC, Oceana Promenade Hotel, Ocean Gordy, and our media partner, Peace Arch News. I'd also like to acknowledge our board of directors who are here with us this morning. Louise Tremblay just got in from Quebec this morning. Ramona Captain, yes. Steve Scott and Rich Uvalid. Is Jocelyn Young here from Surrey Board of Trade? I guess not. I don't see her. To access today's program, make sure you click on the QR code. It's on the little card that's on your table. And you'll see how far off I am on the program so far. Mayor Megan Knight was first elected in 1992, and she previously served as a councillor on the White Rock City Council from 2014 to 2018. She's been a resident for, I won't say how many years, a long time. She went to Semiahmoo High School, so rah rah. She went to the University of UBC and also became a notary public, which is her main profession when she's not running the city, which is probably a full-time job, as we know. She's received the Queen's Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Award and serves on various boards, including Sources Foundation, the Regional Library Board. That's like marmalade. It's hard to say. And has also served on the Tour de White Rock. Whoa. Give me another coffee, yes. So without further ado, would you please welcome to give us a State of the Nation, Mayor Knight.
Thank you, Bill. Is this sounding okay? Because it was sounding like it was bouncing off of him, so if it is, just give me a shout. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming to my first State of the City address. It's truly uplifting to see so many familiar faces and friendly faces facing me first thing this morning. I would like to begin today by acknowledging the tragic events that took place this past April, resulting in one man injured and one man losing his life. The aftermath saw an outpouring of grief and support from our community, and with staff and council working tirelessly to keep everyone informed. I have lived here for 45 years, so yes, I'm telling you how old I am. I can tell you that for me, White Rock lost its sense of security that week, and it was terrible. I want to thank our RCMP, our IHIT, and our special units for their unwavering dedication and for bringing charges against this individual and ensuring the safety of our community. As mayor, with everything that was happening, I had to postpone this event at the very last minute. And I apologize to all of you and of course to Oceana Park for all the preparation they had ready to go. But we were extremely busy at City Hall and this just wasn't appropriate to have that day. So from there, I sincerely appreciate you all for being here today and taking the time to join us. Your presence allows us to share the progress we've made and also discuss the initiatives we have for the years coming. I'd like to acknowledge today that I'm joined by my council. I have Councillor Dave Chesney here, Councillor Elaine Chung, Councillor Ernie Klassen, Councillor Michelle Partridge, and Councillor Christopher Trevelyan. So thank you all for joining me today. Oh, did I miss Bill? Sorry, a big round of applause for Bill Lawrence. There's always one. I don't know why. You always have to miss one. Okay, so speaking for all of us on council, I want to thank you for entrusting us with the job of governing this city. We are each deeply committed to you, our community, and our beautiful city by the sea. We are working diligently to make decisions that will be in the best interest of the city and to ensure that we all enjoy the best quality of life here and now and into our future. I'd also like to acknowledge that I'm joined here today by our dedicated city staff leadership, and I have a few here, so you might want to hold your applause till we're done. We're going to start with my CAO, Guillermo Ferrero. Did I say that correctly? Great. We call him G because it's just easier. Director of Corporate Finance or Corporate Administration, Tracy Arthur. Director of Finance, Candice Gartrey. Director of Engineering and Municipal Operations, Jim Gordon. Chief Technology Officer, Chris Zoda. Director of Human Resources, Carrie Lang. Director of Planning and Development, Ann Berry. Director of Recreation and Culture, John Woolgar. And our Fire Chief, Ed Wolf. Thank you all for being here today. The only one we're missing is our White Rock RCMP Staff Sergeant, Rob Dixon. He was unable to make it today. Also in attendance from my staff, we have from the Finance Department, Kathy Laramie, and from Corporate Administration, we have Debbie Johnstone, Janessa Auer, Kaylin Nelson, Dunia Tozy, and unable to make it today is Chris Magnus. So thank you, ladies, for joining us. These women are indispensable to the success of my role. So to all our staff, I say thank you for your hard work. I know I speak on behalf of all of council when I say we appreciate you and you make us all look good, so thank you. Well, the first year and a half of my 4-year term has been eventful and productive. To say the least, I've spent a lot of time playing catch up and righting the ship, as they say. My number one priority and a campaign promise when I took office was to rebuild the relationships within City Hall. I sat down with G and I said, let's meet every single employee that works here. And he says, everyone? And I said, yes. I want to go around to every department, every facility and say, hi, my name's Megan Knight, and your name is? And that's what we did. And I have to tell you, it was a real eye-opener. I got to chat with staff and hear what they had to say. Some of it not so great, but some of them had some really good ideas too. So it was time to take into their perspective how their daily work goes. So it's critical for me as mayor of this city to understand how every department works. And I tell you, it was a great success. And it's so nice to see someone watering the plants on Marine Drive and waving at them when you drive by, or go into the finance department and know, when we have the dogs there, I know, Moose's mom, that type of thing. So it's just a lot of fun. So a simple gesture of putting a name to a face was a really great job. So from there, G and I brainstormed on how to best maintain our existing staff and attract new staff to come work in White Rock. What I realized very quickly was White Rock had some reputation issues. And with the job market factors, as we all know, as difficult as it is, it was very hard to recruit staff. So one of the initial decisions we had was we decided just to hold a Christmas lunch for our staff. I know that doesn't sound like anything big, but it really built up the morale. We had a great time, and Miss Lang and our HR department really ran with it, and we all had a lot of fun that day. Staff went away positive and more energized. Then another decision aimed at keeping staff happy and maybe bringing some new staff in was I changed the council start time to 4 p.m. You would think the sky was falling over that one for changing it from 7 p.m. I simply said, why not? Why not let our staff go home early to their families in the evening? It's just because we've always done it at 7 p.m. doesn't mean we need to do it again. So we changed it to 4, and everything's fine. And staff are thrilled. So there you go. Significance. The other one was with the 4 p.m. start, we don't bring in dinner for everybody anymore. So it's a big cost savings to the city. You go home and have dinner after council. So that was another win-win. Council also recently updated the exempt staff compensation policy to maintain a 60% percentile of select market for wages and salaries moving forward. This change will position White Rock more competitively amongst other Metro Vancouver municipalities, ensuring not only better salaries, but we get to attract new employees and to keep the ones we have, because we were losing them to other municipalities that were paying better. As I mentioned earlier, my job was to right the ship. I've just shared a few small examples, but by implementing small gestures or new, fresh ideas, the city will undoubtedly reap the rewards. I am dedicated to fostering a culture of respect, understanding, and appreciation. My goal is to ensure staff are valued, respected, and motivated to contribute their best efforts. Also, at the onset of the term, council sat down and rolled up their sleeves and got to work on the 2023 to 2026 strategic priorities. And I'm supposed to have a copy here, but I don't, but I'm supposed to hold it up. I think there's some on the back table if anybody wants to see them. I have copies there, and it's also on the city website for anybody watching at home. This plan serves as a roadmap for council and city staff to prioritize and direct resources over the term. In addition to these priorities, I would like to assure our residents that public safety is a core service of any municipality. We are taking proactive steps to address public safety concerns in our city. I have monthly meetings with our RCMP staff sergeant to be kept up to date with any issues that arise. And I also meet with the community policing to discuss crime prevention. As well, council is actively awaiting a comprehensive report on CCTV cameras, exploring security guards, and considering improvements of lighting down on the boardwalk. Now on to planning, prioritizing, and budgeting in a small city like White Rock. We have a population of 21,900, and property tax is really our only means of revenue. This makes prioritizing and budgeting in our city a careful balancing act, recognizing we have limits to our resources and we can't make everything happen at once. So, moreover, responsible fiscal management, another campaign promise, is something that I'm deeply committed to. As a notary public who ran a successful business for 25 years in this community, I understand this very well. When I took office, this council inherited a deficit in our reserve funds. With this round of budgets, however, I'm pleased to report that this council is building the city's reserve funds back to where they need to be. This is not as simple as it sounds. We need to replace funds plus add to each budget. Like I stated earlier, we have been playing catch up. Another name for reserves is the city's savings account. This ensures that we put aside the funds needed for future infrastructure that will eventually need major maintenance or replacement costs at significant costs. And I can only turn to the city of Calgary right now to see what's happening there. A big disaster, and they need the money to fix it. So we always have to plan for the future. We keep having to put money into reserves. It's simply not responsible to run a deficit in your reserves, and this council won't. We must plan ahead for these, and with any failed infrastructure or no savings to pay for it, we will be in dire straits. The previous council's decision to reduce taxes had its consequences on all of us. Unfortunately, many of us were unaware that reserves were being neglected, reaching dangerously low levels, and funds were being moved around, akin to robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was generally shocked by the revelations when I took office. And I want to assure the taxpayers here today that you can expect more responsible planning from this mayor and this council, especially under my leadership. We currently face the challenge of playing catch up while still meeting our ongoing obligations. It's a demanding balancing act, but I'm committed to breaking away from the previous policies and ensuring a more sustainable and positive approach. Backfilling the reserves, compounded with the reality of the inflation rates, has meant some hard decisions for this council. The decision to reinstate paid parking at the waterfront during the winter months was one of those tough choices. I understand that this was very controversial for some, but it's essential to recognize that our council had to make this difficult decision to address the situation. It's important to also understand that the waterfront parking occupies land which we have to lease from BNSF. We do not own that land, the railroad does. So when someone mentions to me free parking, it's crucial to understand it's not truly free to the residents of White Rock. What it is a cost that will eventually be passed on to all the residents of White Rock through taxation. So I'm pleased to report from the decision that council made, the charges that have been changed, and the increased rate, we have brought in an additional $123,500, which translates into saving 0.5% on property taxes. So that's a decrease in property taxes for our residents because of the change we made. The success of Bright Walk held this past summer filled the parking lots full when it was dark and cold and windy and awful out there. We not only had tremendous feedback from our freely offered Bright Walk event, but also generated much needed paid parking, helping to offset any potential tax increases. Considering White Rock's size and financial constraints, it makes good financial sense to ask visitors from other communities to pay to come to our free events. They are bringing their families. They can pay a few dollars to park at our parking lots. This goes through taxation. So let's move on to the 2024 budget and tax rate. Council, along with staff, diligently worked hard to keep the tax increases in check this year without compromising our service, quality, and delivery of services, despite the challenges posed by skyrocketing inflation, which you all are aware of. This council recognizes the importance of being mindful with our finances in these challenging times. As a result of this, I'm pleased to announce that we have one of the lowest tax rates in all of Metro Vancouver. We came in at 4.82%. While some cities are hitting double digits on their taxation, it's important to note that our modest increase also includes replenishing capital reserves, like I stated before, for White Rock's future financial well-being. Like I stated previously, a lot of my time has been playing catch-up on issues at City Hall. I'm happy to share that we have reached a 4-year agreement with CUPE. We have also brought a benefit package that has not been negotiated since 2017 and was affecting staff retention and new hires. This agreement brings CUPE salaries to 2024, and we will continue more bargaining for future years in 2025. We're going to be bargaining for IAFF, hopefully this year, to bring the firefighters union to current rates, as the salaries have not been adjusted since our last agreement expired in 2021. I want to thank Ms. Lang and her department for all their hard work on these achievements. Now let's shift gears and share updates on Council's strategic priorities. First up was addressing the building permit backlog, another campaign promise, and I see a lot of those faces here today. Council heard this was our first order of business when we took office, because we heard loud and clear that this was a real disaster and we needed to clean it up. The good news is we were successful, and we reduced the building applications, I'm pleased to say today. Over the last 12 months, we had 26 permits waiting to be reviewed at this time last year. Currently, we have 3. Also, in tenant improvements, we had 27 this time last year. Today, we have 0 waiting. So, well done. This is a direct result of Council's decision to hire and retain a consultant and invest money in more staff. So, well done to all of Council and all staff on that. I also believe the new exempt and CUPE salary rates will position the City of White Rock as a more attractive place to work, helping with staffing challenges. Now next is to deliver a plan to build an affordable housing project, another campaign promise. As we are all aware, affordable housing is reaching crisis levels nationwide, not just in our region, but everywhere. To address this issue in White Rock, I've established a housing advisory committee. I have high expectations from this committee and look forward to the recommendations coming forward. A 2021 White Rock Needs Assessment identified that 1,153 units needed to be built in White Rock by 2026. However, progress has fallen very short, with only 422 units completed by 2022. As of May this year, there are only 137 units at various stages of review and development. This lack of attention has resulted in the province placing us on the so-called naughty list. The needs assessment identified seniors as one of the 2 groups that most urgently had the need for affordable housing in our community, and the other, people living with mental health challenges or disabilities. The identification as seniors as a top priority aligns with the community demographics, because 37% of White Rock residents are over the age of 65. We will carefully consider these factors as we formalize the project plan for the affordable housing development. I want to congratulate Unity on finally getting the Harmony Apartments project off the ground. What a great addition to this area that will provide affordable and inclusive housing. And I know they have their shovel turning this morning, so they couldn't be here. Regarding funding now, by next year, the city will have $9.1 million set aside for this project. To bring this vision to life, we will seek funding partners, including other levels of government, community partners, and private developers. Collaborating with these stakeholders is crucial to getting a shovel-ready plan and turning this project into a reality. I'd like to take this opportunity to mention our planned community hub, a key project aimed at providing much-needed affordable housing for our community. The new hub will include a substantial affordable housing component. By combining reserves, we will anticipate we'll have approximately $15 million by next year to support this initiative. I will elaborate on those details shortly. Now, you have to understand $15 million we've put into reserves is a huge amount for White Rock. A 1% tax increase in White Rock is $290,000. So I say well done to all of council and for the decisions we've made to date. Supporting our community hub will be widely increase the chances to get some affordable housing built soon. We continue to advocate for funding with other levels of government, which included me touring the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Kang this past summer. We discussed the White Rock affordable housing needs, the community hub project, and the funding required for the pier. So on behalf of White Rock, I say to everyone here today, our city proudly owns land, offering opportunities for sale, for trade, or collaborations. Council is receptive and eager to explore funding partnership ideas. If you or someone you know is interested, my door is open, or you can speak to any of these councilors. I say, let's talk. While on the topic of affordable housing, I want to take a moment now to touch on the province's new legislation that significantly changes our property zoning bylaws and will override existing municipal zoning. The province's Home for People's Plan introduced several new bills into provincial legislation designed to streamline development approval processes. It mandates changes to our official community plan and zoning bylaw. Let me underscore that. It's the provincial government that is mandating these changes, not my council. This is the province taking action to facilitate the creation of more affordable housing units. Through Bill 44, the new legislation permits the construction of 3 to 4 units on any traditional single-family lot in White Rock. Larger size family-owned lots near transit stops with frequent service can have up to 6 units, and additional density is allowed in areas well served by transit. Critical to note is the northeast corner of 16th and 152, just kitty corner over here, where the former Sawbucks pub is located, has been announced by TransLink as a station on the planned King George Boulevard bus rapid transit line. The BRT announcement suggests that the province will likely designate that area as a transit-oriented area, indicating it is well served by transit. So, under Bill 47, such designation comes with minimum density requirements, necessitating at least 20 stories in the area surrounding the bus station. And the city cannot deny applications based on the density being too high. What's crucial to understand is that these are mandated by the province. Even if council disagrees with what they're implementing, the public needs to understand that this is the law. The province has made it a legal requirement, giving any property owner the right to pursue it, and the city cannot deny it. Another provincial requirement is that no public hearings will be held for any residential project that is compliant with the OCP. Yes, our OCP must be updated to meet the mandated requirements. Again, this is not our choice, it's the province. I stated earlier that White Rock has been put on the naughty list. Well, White Rock will now be required by law to meet housing targets set by the province. We hope to receive this order with the unit numbers from the province by September, so we can let you all know. Our staff are working closely with the province to ensure that the council comments and many concerns are heard and addressed. One big concern is that the target numbers are only counted on units that have received a final occupancy permit. They must be fully constructed and a certificate issued for their numbers to count. That is a big deal. So now my initial concerns about hearing this are related to infrastructure, of course. it's essential to consider the impact of adding more dwellings and more people on our sewers, our roads, our water, and essential services as our hospital, RCMP, fire departments, and of course schools. Is the province going to pay and provide for this infrastructure, or are they downloading again these costs onto us? Furthermore, in addition to heightened housing density requirements, the province has mandated that cities cannot establish minimum parking space requirements for new housing developments near transit-oriented areas. So let me just give you an example of that for all you that live in White Rock. All those 33-foot lots on the west side of Oxford, on the hillside, located by a regular bus service, can now construct up to 6 units on their lot. And guess what? They don't have to supply any parking. So think about that. And there's nothing we can do about it. So we're supposed to assume all these people take transit. You know, everybody relies on transit. There's not going to be one extra parked car there. Considering the challenges that we all face in White Rock for parking, how is this going to work? But like I said, we are mandated by the province to allow this. So our planning department cannot turn down an application. We have sent in our concerns and our comments, and we are hoping that they listen to us, but we will see. So a one-size-fits-all approach does not work for our city, and it does not align with the unique needs of White Rock and our hillside. I commend the hard work of Ms. Barry and Mr. Gordon's respective departments for their efforts in keeping up with developments and keeping us all well informed, despite having minimal information from the province and of course putting us on tight deadlines to meet everything. So well done to your both departments. Also related to housing and the housing crisis is the Daytime Warming Center. Its mandate is to provide refuge, meals, snacks, personal care, mental health resources, counseling for people experiencing homelessness during cold weather. While the pilot in 2022 was successful and much needed, there was no funding from the province for 2023. Despite our best efforts to secure funding assistance, almost the entire cost fell on White Rock taxpayers. So over the past 3 years, we have paid $330,700 for the warming center from our taxes. To date, we've only been reimbursed $75,000 from Emergency BC, and that was only for periods that it was open during provincial extreme weather alerts. So the weather has to drop below a certain degree, and then they will kick in and give us a little bit of funding. So if it's just miserable and cold out, we get zero. Needless to say, I, along with council, are very disappointed, especially considering that addressing housing and homelessness is a provincial mandate. To help cover costs, we have also sought donations from private citizens, and we received $16,000 in donations, and I want to thank everyone who donated to that. I would like to express our gratitude to one generous citizen who donated significantly to support this cause and is here with us this morning. So Mr. Kanwar Darmot, would you please stand, because I'd like to give you a round of applause. Your generosity is appreciated. The Warming Center had 3,845 individual visits throughout its daily operation. So it's evident that this service is crucial and well utilized for at-risk and direly underserved population. Future operations will need to be funded by the province, as the City of White Rock cannot sustain funding this every year. The residents of White Rock have borne their fair share of costs, and it's time for the province to step up. My request to all concerned citizens, local faith groups, PH2H, sources, etc., is to please do your part now. Please contact Minister Callon and Premier Eby's office, urging them to take responsibility. Launch your email campaigns. Start sharing the word, because this is still falling on the White Rock taxpayers instead of the province. Now let's talk about another of Council's top priorities, the development of a community hub. Our existing municipal compound needs replacing. City Hall is over 60 years old, and it needs substantial accessibility and seismic upgrades. The daycare, library, and annex all need upgrades also and are constantly being repaired. We do not have an elevator for accessibility. We have run out of room for our staff and who are crammed into very tight, inadequate spaces. We are moving Council's chamber into the cold, damp annex building to create a much-needed office space for staff. So despite significant financial investments, the conditions remain challenging. Bottom line is City Hall, the annex, the library, the buildings all are past their prime, and I, along with my council, are not going to continue sinking money into them. The good news is our City Hall and the surrounding buildings sit on very valuable land that we own. We are therefore expanding opportunities again to construct a new city facility, a community resource that may include new council chambers, a library, administration offices, a community theater, meeting and recreation rooms, commercial space, accessible public washrooms, and a daycare, to name a few. We're also exploring whether to incorporate the affordable housing component in the same complex. We have established a committee to drive this process that will include public consultation. As with the affordable housing project, we are seeking funding partners for this initiative. Recognizing that this hub will require financial support, we are open to partnering with both provincial and federal government as well as private partnerships. Again, council is open to fundraising partnership ideas. So if you or someone you know is interested, please come and talk to us. We have the land. This brings me next to our next priority and third significant funding need: reconstruct the remainder of the pier. Our iconic pier, built in 1914, requires reconstruction to meet current seismic requirements and to be storm resistant, and to include provisions that enable increasing its elevation to accommodate future sea level rise. Seismically upgrading the pier and making it more accessible, such as Council's recent resolution to install an adaptable mat, is not only a community safety imperative, but also an investment in crucial economic driver for White Rock. Arguably the crown jewel of White Rock, a permanent solution is required. Preserving it will benefit residents, visitors, and future generations. Following the storm damage in 2018, only 1/3 of the pier was rebuilt. I get asked this all the time. Everybody thinks the pier was rebuilt. 1/3 of it has been rebuilt. The estimated cost to complete the remaining 2/3 restoration is $15 million. Now that's in today's dollars. Another year or two down the road, who knows what inflation is going to do to that. This council has put $3.1 million into a reserve to help fund this project. I have also participated in budget discussions with MPs prior to the federal budget, and I've met with MLAs and requested assistance. Actually, I was begging, but I'll say requested. Unfortunately, I keep getting turned down for funding. There seems to be no money for our pier. I will keep trying, and I'm committed to exploring every avenue to secure funding we need. I do want to take this opportunity here to thank the Friends of the Pier and the Semiahmoo Rotary, who to date have raised an amazing $575,000 for the Pier Restoration Fund. I will say thank you, Friends of the Pier and Semiahmoo Rotary. Your support has been incredible. It's truly remarkable what a community can achieve when it works together. We have now installed a tap-and-go donation point by the pier, encouraging visitors who enjoy the pier to donate a few dollars. Who knows? If somebody gives us $2 every second one that walks down the pier, maybe we'll make a lot of money. These donations will be added to our pier reconstruction reserve. We will get there. Together, we will restore our iconic pier for the enjoyment of the community into the future. Now, this covers Council's 3 top priorities for this term: shovel-ready plan for an affordable housing development, a community hub, and funding to reconstruct the pier. I now want to highlight a few new projects that you will hear about, and in some cases observe in our community, that will also serve Council's strategic priorities. First is the redevelopment of the southern area of Five Corners as a community gathering space. This aligns with Council's vision to create and enhance community spaces that people want to visit and have a much needed washroom in the area. We are actively seeking community input about the idea of the washroom, the bike lanes, the pathways, and signage. And we will need input from both residents and businesses in the area. So I hope you will offer your feedback. A survey is available on our website and on Talk White Rock. Also in the works is a splash pad for Generations Playground. This playground is very special to me because I had the pleasure of serving as vice chair of the committee in 2018 when we prepared it. Generations Playground Committee, and I officially opened the park in 2018. My grandkids call it Grandma's Park. This all-ability playground was realized by partnering with the Peace Arch Hospital Foundation with donations from the White Rock Firefighters Charity and Self-Advocates of Semiahmoo, and of course private donors. Fast forward 6 years later, and now as the mayor, one thought I always had was for the park to have a water feature for the kids. Given the heat we experience in the summers now, it can also be used as a cooling station for all ages. So I contacted Stephanie Beck at Peace Arch Hospital Foundation, and we met with staff to discuss the idea. After a great presentation from my staff, the Peace Arch Hospital Foundation has again agreed to partner with us and has generously granted $100,000 towards making this project a reality. So I want to thank the Peace Arch Hospital Foundation. Another positive addition to the community is the Rainbow Crosswalk at Peace Arch Elementary School, which was completed last fall and funded in partnership with the Peace Arch Elementary School PAC and White Rock Pride Society. The Rainbow Crosswalk reflects the school, and this community is for everyone. We take care of each other and our neighborhoods. An upcoming new project in the interpretive exhibit and restoration of Pequel's, the White Rock. This project serves three important strategic priorities: creating inviting public spaces, revitalizing the waterfront, and sustaining and nurturing our relationship with our neighbors, the Semiahmoo First Nation. This is being developed in close collaboration with SFN to be located adjacent to Pequel's. The installation will be unveiled on September 30th this year in recognition of National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Next, I want to touch on the economic development in our city. In 2023, the city issued 2,519 new and renewed business licenses. This represents a 6% increase over 2022 and demonstrates continued strong interest in White Rock as a place to set up shop. Some examples of new businesses investments have been in the specialties offices in the Altus building and Foster Martin. Newly opened dental, optometry, women's health, also offices in law, mediation, and real estate, and of course pizza. We always have to have pizza. I'm also pleased that the Altus building has a thriving daycare, which, by the way, was my idea. Miramar now has Thrifty's Grocery and Tacofino open, injecting fresh energy into our uptown. Next, we will be welcoming back the Royal Bank in the new Soleil building just behind us. These developments signify positive growth for our community, enhancing both convenience and economic vitality. We continue our productive working relationship with our valued partners, the Chamber of Commerce and the BIA, including networking events like today, where we can all discuss issues and what we can all do to improve White Rock. I have also connected with our neighbors to the south. I have met with Mayor Mary Lou Stewart from the city of Blaine and with Mayor Marna Hanneman from our sister city, the town of LaConner in Washington, to discuss building opportunities between our two communities. By investing into community festivals and events like Canada Day, TD Concerts by the Pier, Sea Festival, Arts Festivals, Bright Walk and White Rock, for a few examples, these signature events bring tens of thousands of people into our city. I want to commend Mr. Woolgar and his staff for their hard work in organizing such fantastic events. Their efforts really put White Rock on the map and showcase what makes White Rock such a great place to visit year-round. The Snowbirds also have a long history of visiting White Rock, and we were appreciative of this special relationship. Last August, we had an unveiling of a special commemorative Canadian Forces Snowbird sign that coincided with an air demonstration. It is always an incredible treat to see the snowbirds in our skies, and they love coming here. They use the pier for their beacon, and I've talked to the pilots, and they said it's one of the best places for them to fly, do a show. A final strategic priority that I wanted to touch base on is the significance of investing in process improvement for the effective operation of our city, creating efficiencies and delivering superior customer service. Technology has evolved over the years, and it's crucial that we all stay current, bringing the city into the 21st century. This investment is critical. One key area is the financial management system, which we are currently replacing, which presents a very large and complex undertaking for our finance and our IT department. The current financial system isn't fully automated, making it inefficient. For instance, in many cases, it requires staff to manually pull numbers, do the calculations, and then deliver a handwritten report when requested. This is going to change with the new financial management system. In this day and age, it should be a push of a button, and we are now working towards this, and it is no small feat. But with IT department help and the finance department's input, this is coming to fruition. So well done, Mr. Zoder and Ms. Gartree, and to your departments. I will leave it there for strategic priority updates. Now, where would we be without our RCMP and our White Rock Fire Rescue? I would like to acknowledge the dedication and bravery of both departments. They work tirelessly to ensure the safety and well-being of our community, often putting themselves at risk to protect others. With 7,000 RCMP calls for service a year, investigating complaints, carrying out road safety enforcement, and a variety of patrols, and providing over 2,000 hours of services through community policing to deter and reduce crime, they are rising to the challenges and doing an exceptional job. White Rock Fire Rescue continuously works hard and to stay current with its training to provide outstanding response and service to our community. As an example, all White Rock first responder instructors have transitioned to emergency medical responder status, and all staff completed live fire ground training. So to Staff Sergeant Rob Dixon and your officers, and Chief Ed Wolf and your firefighters, thank you for keeping our community safe and for making sure no call is too small. Before we wrap things up, I would like to make a few important acknowledgements. Volunteers. White Rock has always relied on the help of its amazing volunteers to produce and support close to 6 community events each year. Last year, we had 195 volunteers who contributed 782 hours of their time. For those interested in volunteering, you can now do it online, so check out our city website. So from the bottom of my heart, I would like to give you all a round of applause for all your fantastic volunteering. I have a few more important thank yous. First of all, I'm going to start with the chamber. And I'm going to ask the ladies to put up your hands, please, for all the hard work that you have done for this event. Thank you. And of course, Bill Brooks, but we don't have to clap for him. To Oceana Park, and I see the new general manager in the back there. His name is Sonny Mendoza. To him and his team for graciously hosting us. Welcome to White Rock, Sonny. We look forward to working with you in the future, and thank you for a wonderful breakfast. It's been great. Last but certainly not least, I want to express my gratitude to my fellow city councilors and members of all city staff. The role of being mayor means I work closely with all of you. Over this past year and a half, I have learned so much and have developed a real appreciation for the complexity of a city operation and the hard work, expertise, and deep commitments you all make to our city and its residents. So to all of you, I thank you again for being here today and sharing with you our progress we have made over our term so far and our ambitious vision for the years ahead. We're all very lucky to live, work, and play in such a beautiful city by the name of White Rock. I'll conclude now with, which I'm sure you're hopeful, when When I was running for mayor, I had a campaign slogan that stated, "Leadership that works." Now, with my time in office, I've backed it up with action. It's not just talk. It's about making a real difference for our city and its residents. And I'm fully committed to carrying on with this effective leadership. Thank you.